This is now, we are talking about 307 billion in the entire country for under the shared revenue, but you are again here fighting for RMLF, which is less than 10 billion. I mean, what kind of gluttonous mindset is this, Honorable Speaker? This is pure greed. You're all over going to court and saying, you know, these members of parliament are getting 100 million. I mean, really, proposed by the chairperson, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, even as we support this report, there is something that we also need to ponder as a House. And even first of all, Honorable Speaker, it's also important for us to guide the members of the public that this is a procedure. There has been a misconception out there that members of parliament are sitting on the county funds, you know, or rather they are fighting the county governments or devolution by not really being able to allocate funds to the counties, Honorable Speaker. That is misleading and it's a misconception, Honorable Speaker. Because people should know that this is a report. I mean, this is a process where and Article 113, Honorable Speaker, of the Constitution directs and guides us that where the bicameral parliament of the Senate and the National Assembly, Honorable Speaker, have divergent views in terms of allocation of these funds, then a mediation committee is formed to fit this purpose. So those people who've been moving around, Honorable Speaker, slandering and telling lies to the members of the public that the honorable members of parliament are fighting devolution are misleading the members of public. But even then, Honorable Speaker, we live in very interesting times. The county government seeking to have 400 billion is not a bad idea because after all, Honorable Speaker, we passed this constitution that we have devolved units get a good amount of money to have the resources taken back to the villages or back to mwananchi, back to the counties, Honorable Speaker. That is not a bad thing. But also, we also need to live in reality. We need to live in reality of time. We need to live and be practical of what happens, what is happening in the country. We all live in this country and know the status of our economy. Know very well that upon what happened in June, Honorable Speaker, when we passed the finance bill here, then it clearly means that we couldn't meet our revenue target, Honorable Speaker, and it couldn't be practically possible to allocate the counties all the funds that they wanted, Honorable Speaker. So this committee has really tried and overstretched themselves to even raise it to such an amount at 24% to raise it at 387 billion, Honorable Speaker. But even then, we then need to ponder ourselves and sit and ask ourselves these very pertinent questions, Honorable Speaker. Where does this money go to? It is going to the counties. It is not the first time these funds are going to the counties. Every county has received funds, all since 2013, Honorable Speaker, to date. But where does this money go to, Honorable Speaker? Where does it go to? It is the president the other day, Honorable Speaker, and in copying the Honorable Oudo's words, Honorable Speaker, the president was here while reading his speech. He talked about corruption. If there is a place that we need to fight corruption, it's actually in the county governments. If there is a place there is high level of corruption that is massaged, that is, I mean, we have created demigods, Honorable Speaker, in the name of their excellencies. It's a very bad thing that you move from county to county, you'll hear very unique problems, Honorable Speaker. Where is this obsession of them even fighting for fuel levy coming from? That you've got it, you have enough, you have money, you have some counties receive up to 13 billion. This is now, we are talking about 307 billion in the entire country for under the shared revenue, but you are again here fighting for RMLF, which is less than 10 billion. I mean, what kind of gluttonous mindset is this, Honorable Speaker? This is pure greed. You're all over going to court and saying, you know, these members of parliament are getting 100 million. I mean, really. And majority leader, Honorable Speaker, and spoke very well and stated facts that when you go to their compounds, Honorable Speaker, they have 12 bodyguards guarding their homes. Then they have guys carrying rungus in the name of, they are called, in the name of Kanjo, Honorable Speaker. I mean, they are guarding them. So Raia can hardly reach them. So all those problems are taken to members of parliament who only have one bodyguard, Honorable Speaker, and by the operations, by facts of our operations in terms of our duties, Honorable Speaker, we are ever with the people. So these guys walk around with so many people. Raia can hardly reach them to explain to them their problems. I mean, there are no medicines in hospitals, Honorable Speaker. They are now sabotaging every health system. They cannot build classrooms, Honorable Speaker. I even heard one governor, Honorable Speaker, close to actually in my county, bragging that the KTRH, the Kisi Teaching and Referral Hospital, makes 247 million in a quarter. Really? You are bragging that you are making 247 million in a quarter in a hospital that does not have drugs, in a hospital that does not have doctors, enough personnel, in a hospital that people are dying. I mean, really, why are people attracting? Why are people attracting cases, Honorable Speaker? I mean, let's ask ourselves this question, Honorable Speaker. Why would one person need 20 vehicles following him, you know, to a function, to a burial function that does not belong to him, does not belong to his relative? 20 vehicles. One carrying a chair, another one carrying a carpet, another one carrying goons, another one carrying a girlfriend, another one carrying water, another one carrying a toilet, Honorable Speaker. How this toilet, what is their toilet special? How do, Honorable Speaker, this is very painful. Kenyans are suffering. Kenyans are suffering under this devolution. The intention of devolution, Honorable Speaker, was to help. The intention of devolution, Honorable Speaker, was to help and devolve functions back to the villages. But today, professionals or professions are being killed. Doctors who've gone to school for several years cannot even get promotions. They are being frustrated when they raise issues in their, through their society groups and their, when they raise through their unions, Honorable Speaker. They are threatened. They are fired. They are transferred. I know of one doctor, Honorable Speaker, who is a dentist, Honorable Speaker, because they couldn't agree with the governor, Honorable Speaker, over the affairs, because she sits in a union. I mean, he sits in a union, Honorable Speaker. He was transferred to a village clinic, Honorable Speaker, to a dispensary where he can't practice his practice. You know, he can't do his dental work, Honorable Speaker, just because it questioned the governor over the operations of the county. Honorable Speaker, it is very painful. It is sad. It is very, very sad. Some are actually building their offices, taking a lot of money. Some have even abandoned their offices. They are working from the stadiums. Others have converted their homes to be small state houses where they hold meetings until night. It is a sad situation. And we are calling upon EACC, even as we seek to approve the nominee for the CEO position, that it is about time you start arresting some of these governors. It is about time you start arresting some of these thieves in the name of their excellencies. In fact, those terms do not belong to them. Those are their excellency thieves, Honorable Speaker. There is no other better term we can call those guys, because we are sending 307 billion, but you'll need a microscope to see what it does. You will need a microscope to see a classroom. You will need a microscope to identify ECD class. It is a sad situation. I speak with a lot of pain, Honorable Speaker, because we have seen how people are suffering in the villages. We've seen what they do, Honorable Speaker, is to use this money to pay goons. They draw this money, some from their own source revenue, to pay goons, to attend functions, to clap for them. What kind of silly attitude is this? It is just too bad, Honorable Speaker, but I beg to support the report. I hope they will be arrested someday. I just hope they will be arrested someday. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Baringa, what's your point of information? Honorable.